Just going to record the guided meditation and the talk. Always useful to take a moment at the beginning of your meditation or at any point during the day just to let go of the steering wheel and take your foot off the gas. Meditation is a particular practice that teaches you how to do that, but you can do it a little bit right away just by letting go of all the doing you're doing right now, all the doing you were doing before you started meditating, taking energy out of all the thinking you were thinking. It doesn't mean you're stopping thinking. It just means you stop adding energy to the thought processes you were having. You let go of control of your emotional body. You don't need to hold the emotions in. You don't need to hold on to the emotions. Again, you're pulling energy out of all the things you were doing. And it's like you begin to coast. So you were driving the car of your life. You were accelerating down the highway. You were steering and avoiding things. And you just start to coast. You take your foot off the gas. You take your hands off the wheel. Or it's like you're on a bike. You stop pedaling. You sit back. You let go of the handlebars. And yeah, it's a little scary. It's not what you normally do. You start to trust that at least for the next 35 minutes, your life can just proceed without you controlling it. And I'm going to guide you through some practices, but this is the most important part of it. Sometimes I like to imagine myself just coasting through time, right? It's as if you're on a bike and it's just going downhill. You don't need to pedal, right? Time will pull you forward. You don't need to do anything. You sit on the cushion and you glide down time for 35 minutes. You just feel the wind of time in your hair. Smell the rich, empty smell of time in your nose. And the exhilaration of movement without effort in your body. So we're going to return to our breath meditation. We're using this as the basis for everything we do for a little while. We're going to notice our breath as we breathe in, and we can label it in. And we can notice our breath as we breathe out, and we can label it out. This is a concentration exercise. So what we want to do is find some part of the breath. You can choose right now, but I'll guide us a little bit later on. But find some part of the breath that you can feel. Not that you have an idea about, but that you can feel. You can feel it changing. You can feel the pressure. You can feel the coolness of the air or the warmth of it. You can feel a tingle. You can feel movement. Anything that you can feel that's real, that's here in the present moment. This is how we get brought into the present moment experience most easily, by tuning in with our present moment sensory experience. And right now we're doing that via the breath. It can be useful to notice that anything that distracts you is also a sensory experience. By noticing that, you'll stay in the present moment even when you're distracted. So your thoughts, you might have some sounds in your head, you might have some pictures in your head. There might be some sounds in your environment that distract you. There might be some pains or discomfort in your body or pleasures in your body that distract you. But they're all sensory experiences. They're all here in the present moment. So just notice how I was distracted by this sensory experience. And now I'm going to turn my mind back to my breath. By labeling it in and out, we will aid ourselves in having fewer distractions. Help quiet the mind a little bit. Help keep us focused on our breath. And we're still coasting. We're just coasting through our life right now, just noticing one aspect of it, which is the present moment experience of our breath. In out. So today, the one thing I want us to notice most specifically is the relaxation event that happens on the out breath. It's not something you need to do. It already happens. It's part of the breathing experience. I want you to notice that as you breathe out, relaxation enters the body. And relaxation is not an idea. It's a particular type of sensory experience. So you breathe in, and then as you breathe out, you can notice that the body relaxes, not perfectly, not everywhere, but somewhat, somewhere. So I'm asking you to adjust your attention. We're still on the breath, but I want you to notice a sensory experience that feels like relaxation as you breathe out. If you have a fairly relaxed breathing pattern right now and you're breathing into your belly, then it'll be very easy to notice that as you breathe out, the belly releases and relaxes. Or you'll notice the diaphragm releases up and relaxes. Or you might notice the shoulders drop and relax. Those are very obvious ones to look at if you're having any difficulty. But the truth is the whole body is involved in respiration. So in some sense, you could find relaxation almost anywhere, at least a little bit, every time you breathe out. And what is relaxation? Relaxation is what I said at the beginning. It's letting go of the steering wheel. It's letting go of the handlebars. It's, if to put it more dramatically, it's letting go of the cliffside, right? And letting yourself fall. That's relaxation. You don't need to hold on to any cell of your body. It will live and continue functioning perfectly without your interference. So just notice as you breathe out, the whole body starts to let go and trust that when it needs it, air will be available. So we're going to keep doing in and out. You could replace out with relax if you wanted to notice, but not as a command, as just something you're noticing. It's possible to think of everything in our life in terms of relaxation and lack of relaxation. Our painful emotions are a resistance in our body, a tightening, a pushing against something difficult. Our thoughts are a kind of boundary, a restriction. So the meditation path could be thought of as a learning how to relax every part of our being, or learning how to see as relaxed every part of our being. That does not mean you need to feel particularly relaxed right now. We use the concentration to turn our attention to whatever relaxation we find there. And on the in-breath, we notice the breath coming in, and on the out-breath, we notice the breath going out, plus the relaxation. You might find it useful to just let go of any tension in the body that you can easily let go of. So when you breathe out, you might notice, oh, I can let go of my forehead. See what that feels like. Or when you breathe out, you can go, I can let go of my eyes. I don't need to hold on to my eyes. They'll stay there without any effort by me. When I breathe out, I'll let go of my jaw. I don't need to hold on to anything. I don't need to bite down on anything. Just releasing the jaw. We're not forcing these things to relax. If something doesn't want to relax in the way we want it to, we just let it be there, right? We take our hands off the steering wheel. So if something wants to stay tight and tense, it's actually very important to let it stay that way. An attempt to make it relax will only make it tighter in the long run. So we're just giving attention without too much intention to the relaxation in our body. We notice any tension in our throat that can be easily let go of, we just let go of it. And maybe we're feeling the breath go in the throat and the breath go out. We feel any tension in our shoulders, back of our neck that can be easily let go of. Then we let go of it. We breathe in and out, and we notice the experience of relaxation. Down the arms and the hands and each of the fingers. We can breathe in and we can breathe out. We can notice any letting go that happens. Breathe in and we breathe out, and we can notice the chest, the sternum, the rib cage, all the way around to the back of the spine. Again, there could be some tension in there. And all through these areas, we may find some emotion, some bruising or wounding or a little bit of pain. It's very normal. These are where we keep our emotions. Some of them are very old, so we don't expect them to go away just because we want them to, or because we've seen them for a moment. So we let them be there, and we let anything that is willing to relax. We notice the relaxation. That's what we're most interested in here. Is what is willing to relax. What does that feel like in the moment when it feels relaxed? And all these parts are connected together. That's part of being relaxed, is that we aren't separating out parts of our body from other parts of our body. So any part that's relaxed can sort of find its way, like water, to connect with other bodies of water, of other bodies of relaxation in the body. And there might be some islands of tension or emotion, and the water just flows around those until it finds its way down to the ocean of relaxation, right? The solar plexus, or if you're more subtly aware, the diaphragm. Notice any tension there that is easy to let go of. Diaphragm is the big muscle that drives our whole breathing process. When we breathe out, it lets go. Down into the abdomen. All the way around the torso there, the waist. It expands the belly outward to the side and the front and the back. When we're breathing naturally, that's okay if it's not that how it is right now. We let anything that wants to let go, let go. We let anything that doesn't want to let go, not let go. That's what it is to notice relaxation. All the way down to the base, to the perineum and the base of our body. It's like a balloon tethered right down there at the bottom. That's the perineum, is like the little knot of the balloon. You can feel it get stretched and relax as the breath goes in and out. And you can start to notice that the breathing pattern is an expanding and contracting pattern. For those who have been doing this, you can start to add the whole body in. So the practice will be in, out, whole body. As we're noticing the out, we're sort of relaxing into feeling the whole body. We breathe in, we breathe out. We're noticing the breath, the sensory experience of the breath. And as we relax on the out breath, we're relaxing into an experience of the whole body, which means we're sort of falling back in with our attention and getting a wider attention that feels our whole body from the feet, the toes, all the way up to the top of the head, from the front of the body to the back of the body, the outside skin of the body and the inside organs of the body and the bones of the body. We breathe in and we notice that wherever we want to notice that. We breathe out, noticing ourselves relaxing into the whole body. So let's continue with that for a few minutes. Not trying to be relaxed, we're just trying to notice relaxation. In, out, whole body. In, out, whole body. We notice the whole body. We're letting go of controlling the body and just watching it, right? We're giving the whole body attention without intention. There's a kind of relaxation in that experience. We have to get bigger than our whole body. We have to be bigger than our head and bigger than our body to feel the whole body. We can just be a millimeter bigger, but we have to be bigger to be able to experience the whole body in our awareness. You may notice as you do that, that parts of your body feel very relaxed, open, almost empty and spacious. And then there's other parts as you're experiencing the whole body that are hard and solid and feel like islands of separateness. And that's okay. We're just letting that be. That's your experience of your whole body right now. But you can notice when you do that, that the islands of separateness are surrounded by this spaciousness, this relaxation. And that spaciousness is giving room to the painful, harder parts of us. So I invite everyone to continue doing what I've guided so far, if that's working for you, or whatever you're doing today, always follow your own instincts. I'm going to move into some awareness meditation to finish up here. It's a little bit more subtle and a little harder to notice. If it doesn't feel right today, don't do it today. You can come back and play this recording another time and do that if you want to catch up at another time. So as we breathe out, I want us to notice our attention relaxing. So we've been sort of noticing the body relaxes, but I want you to notice that the attention, especially the way we're doing it now, can relax a little bit. If you want to try for a second, you can notice attending more tensely by really noticing some small part of your breath, and then let it relax as you breathe out. So we can concentrate, but we can also continue relaxing the attention as we concentrate. We breathe in, concentrated, relaxed concentration. We breathe out, concentrated, relaxed concentration. We feel the whole body concentrated, but relaxed concentration. As we do this, we'll start to notice that what's really happening is our attention is just a story we're telling about what's here. Awareness is what's really here. And awareness already has the whole breath in and out, and the whole body is always there, always present. As we start to relax our attention, we can start to notice that what's really doing the work is awareness. Another way of putting this is that everything is arising in awareness and falling out of awareness, and awareness is always there. Attention isn't always there. Attention bounces around, but awareness is always there. Attention moves through awareness like a little spotlight picking things out, but awareness is always there. And we can notice, oh yeah, awareness is bigger than my body. The experience of my body happens inside of awareness. And it actually doesn't require any effort. It's already inside awareness. It's not like you're making awareness bigger than your body. Awareness is already bigger than your body. It's just sitting there, experiencing everything. When your attention completely relaxes, you'll just be sitting in awareness. Now, that's not a goal. It's not something you can make happen. It's something you just notice eventually. And you can start noticing little aspects of it now, little glimpses of it. in a relaxed way. If this is at all stressful or strenuous, just go back to breathing and noticing relaxation. There's no goal here. This noticing of awareness is the next step in relaxation. So if it makes you less relaxed, then it's not going to work. You just want to go back and keep relaxing into your body. Eventually, you'll start to notice, oh, my attention is getting less effortful. And as I can watch the in breath and the out breath and then notice the whole body, and my attention, my concentration is starting to relax. And as our attention starts to relax, well, one thing is the boundaries of that attention start to become more fuzzy and we start to fall back into awareness. Because awareness is what makes attention up. It's the core of what attention is awareness. But awareness is bigger than our attention. It's just sitting there. It's also faster than our attention. You have to move your attention from one place to the next, but awareness doesn't have to move because it's already there. It moves faster than the speed of light. This isn't really anything too fancy. Awareness is the most basic aspect of our experience. You're aware right now. Anything you attend to, you're aware of. And we're just starting to relax into that and notice that. Oh, yeah. Awareness. We're becoming awake. We're becoming aware of our awareness. Aware that we are aware. Not as an idea, but actually in the present moment. Oh, yeah, I'm here. And here is, at the very least, bigger than your body. So to finish up here, we go into come back to what we started with, just really letting go of any doing, letting go of any steering of the steering wheel, let go of any pressing of the gas pedal. And we will finish without a bell here to really allow ourselves to coast out of meditation into our discussion. Just sit for a few moments here. Coasting again, noticing if it's any different than the coasting you did when you started. class. We are coasting through time. We're floating down the river on a canoe and we've put the paddles up, right? We're letting the current take us. Time will move us forward. It's an absolute guarantee. You do not have to do anything at all. Okay, so as you're ready, you can open your eyes. My leg fell asleep. I'm gonna massage it out a little bit. You can do a little stretch of your body. Again, letting your body use, being still is really, really useful. But your body, not all of your body will love it. So you want to let it know that it can move and roll your shoulders. Lengthen your neck muscles. Okay. So just so you know, on the Zoom, if I pin my video, no one can see you on Facebook or on the YouTube. I think one of the YouTube videos I did record with all our faces there. They're seeing you. You didn't not any of the questions or anything. But from now on, I'll remind myself to pin the video so you're not being seen outside of the Zoom room, if that's of concern for you at all. But it's not a perfect system, the Zoom to Facebook system, but it's useful. Okay, so we've been talking, we're talking about the basics because the basics are the most important thing, not just because everything builds on top of them, but because ultimately they are what it's about. It's not, meditation's a little different from some activities. It's not like you build up a bunch of tools so then you can do the really complicated meditation later on. It's not really what it is. The basic tools are the most important thing. They're what it is. We do the complicated things later on to help us do the basic things, because later on there might be some new obstacles to us doing something basic like concentrating or accepting, that as we get deeper into our body or our emotional life or our mind, we might start to find new obstacles to concentration or new obstacles to acceptance or new obstacles to relaxation. And so we start getting more subtle techniques, but those techniques are all about doing the basic thing, which is concentrating and accepting. And today we're focusing on relaxation. It's a useful word, especially if you remind yourself that we can't force ourselves to be relaxed. Yeah, we can do some activities that help with the relaxation, and it might feel like we are relaxing, but anytime we really are relaxing, it's because we're letting go of doing something. We're letting things be as they are, which is a kind of non-doing, right? It's a kind of releasing of control. So if we try to control our relaxation state, it might feel like it works for a little bit, but it will run into a wall and we'll be holding the controlling part of us will be unrelaxed, right? And it will be in a battle with the parts that it's trying to control. So even as we practice a relaxation technique, we want to remind ourselves that we are relaxing without a goal. We're doing a relaxation technique without the goal of relaxing. It really is helpful, especially in the long run. But it's definitely possible to conceptualize and understand suffering as a type of lack of relaxation. It's not the only way to think about it, and doesn't, right? But this is a useful way to think about it. Useful way to think about enlightenment, if you want to go that far, is a perfectly kind of relaxed existence. You have to think about that a little bit to figure out what that would mean, because obviously I need some tension to be able to lift my phone up or to sit up, right? Right. So what would it mean to be perfectly relaxed in the enlightenment sense? So that we won't talk about that today, but it's something maybe worth exploring and thinking about. But we can talk about suffering. We've talked about this many times in here. One way of thinking about suffering is it's a resistance to what is happening right now. Maybe I've never put it this way, I don't think, but so anything in my experience right now, I could suffer from. This is sort of a negative way of putting it, but it may be useful. Is anything in my life right now I could suffer from? You know that's true, right? So right now I'm sitting here and the candle's back there. Candles are nice. I like candles, right? But I could suffer from it. I could be like, it's too bright. It's brighter than everything else in the frame, right? I don't like it. I wish I could go change it, but I don't want to move right now because I'm teaching the class. So if I went back and changed, right, I could have some suffering because of this candle back here. Or I could have some suffering because this book is tilted too much to the left. If that was what bothered me, right? Or I could have some suffering about how my face looks, right? Or I could have some suffering about any part of my body. There's nothing you couldn't suffer from. That's the fun part of life, right? But when you realize that, right, that tells you the suffering is not in the objects, right? The suffering is not in the thing you're suffering from. My suffering is not actually in the candle. Or think about anything you're suffering from. The suffering is not actually in your poverty, or the suffering is not actually in your partner who is not nice to you. The suffering is not actually in the politics. That's not actually where the suffering is coming from. Because suffering, the greatest suffering, very unpleasant suffering, can arise from absolutely anything. So what causes it? It's our response, right? It's our resistance. It's our not liking. It's our thinking it's bad. It's our present moment fight with what is. The candle causes suffering when I fight the candle. So one way of thinking about this is and noticing, by the way, is that when you're suffering, you can start to notice, where am I suffering in my body? Or another way of putting that, where am I not relaxed in my body with respect to the candle or whatever? I'm suffering right now. Maybe it's because of something I think is going to happen in the future. So I'm generating images of the future, and they apparently are images. Now, what am I suffering from? Well, I'm actually resisting the pictures that are like, I'm generating a picture and I'm like, I don't like that. And I'm generating another picture. I don't like that picture either, right? I'm generating an image of the future that hasn't happened yet. And I'm then resisting the image that's rising. That's a lot of our suffering. It's not even actually something that's here. It's something that we generate to fight with. So one way, of course, is to start to release and let go of the thoughts. But another way is to notice, well, where in my body am I suffering from this image? Where in my body am I tightening against this thing that's going to happen in the future? Because that's what we're doing. We're sort of bracing for an impact of a bad thing that's going to come in the future when we're suffering from worry, right? And so you can notice, oh, there's the suffering. It's right there, or it's right there, or it's right over here, right? It could be a lot of places. It's very, very useful to notice, right? We can conceptualize suffering as a philosophical idea and go, okay, well, if I could stop suffering, if I'd stop thinking things were so bad, or if I stopped having these ideas about things, right? That's definitely one way to approach getting alleviating our suffering. But you can also get very concrete about it and go, where is my suffering in my body? By the way, this applies also if you're suffering because of your body. So say you have a pain in your body. You might think the suffering is in the pain, but very often it's not. So for instance, say you have a bad knee and it hurts a lot and it's really causing you problems. In the moment, you might be feeling the pain, and then there's a reaction in other parts of the body, like bracing against it. It might be the muscles around the knee, but it might be up in the gut or in the heart or in the throat. You might be suffering from your painful knee up in some other part of your body, and you can notice that. Or often, like with your knee, you're actually suffering from the future again. Like, oh, my knee hurts. That means I can't go for a run tomorrow, or I'll never be able to run again. And now you've generated an image, and you're now suffering from the image, and you're now resisting the image. But again, you can ask yourself, where in my body am I resisting this future? And then that's an area where we can start to let go of intention and just give attention. Give some spaciousness to that part of your body that is resisting. You can try to just force it to relax, and you might notice something interesting when you do that. You're like, I'm just going to relax this part. And it's like, oh, all of a sudden the suffering went away. That can work. Eventually, though, as I said, if you force yourself to relax, you will build up another kind of resistance in your body. So rather than forcing it to relax, just allow it to be there in awareness. When you do that, you stop identifying with it, and you're no longer the resistor. So you'll no longer be the sufferer. Our habit will to go back into identification with that the second we stop paying attention. So we have to keep doing that, right? We have to keep creating that space around that resistance, that tension. So I'm giving you a little tool one can use in one's life. But if you want to think about it in terms of meditation, when we're meditating, we are practicing giving space to those things so that they can let go, so that we can let go of identifying with them. We're just practicing for 30 minutes or 35 minutes or 10 minutes, whatever you're doing. We're practicing a kind of relaxation, which allows us to start to disidentify with the parts of us that resist the world. So some part of me is like obsessed with the candle back there. That shouldn't be that way. And I'm suffering when I sort of feel like I'm that person, right? I'm like, oh, the candle, oh, the candle, oh, the candle, right? And I just start to notice, oh, right here, I'm just like somehow clamping down on the candle, really wanting to control the candle. I know that seems like a trivial thing, but it applies to anything more serious. You let go and you allow that resistance to be there. But the second you bring it into awareness, you're no longer identified with the fight against the candle. This part of you might still be fighting against the candle, but you are not now. Right now, you are giving spaciousness to this part and allowing it to start to relax in its own time. As we meditate, we do that over and over again, moment by moment. We're letting relaxation take us over. This is one way that meditation reduces suffering. So let me just finish up with a couple of thoughts about how relaxation and concentration work together. And I know I've said this many times before, but I want to reiterate it. We are practicing concentration. Concentration, as you get more concentrated, you get more relaxed. Let's just think about why it works that way. In our everyday life, our attention is going like this all the time, right? So let's say I'm walking down the street and I'm thinking about, I've got to get milk for later, or soy milk, or whatever it is, right? And your mind is doing that, and there's some part of your body that's like tensing against that, like, okay, I've got to get ready for that. I'm fighting that. And then your phone, you look at your phone, right? And there's like some news headline, and it's like, oh, Israel is melting into the sea. Okay, great. Now there's some tension about that, right? You're over there, right? And then you think about, oh, I knew that global warming was going to do this. And you're thinking about you don't recycle well enough or something, whatever, right? And your attention's getting pulled all over the place. And everything your attention gets pulled to requires some response. This is true even if they're not bad things, right? They just require some tension and response. When we meditate and we bring our concentration down to one thing, especially one thing that doesn't have all these stories associated with it, we're allowing for 30 minutes for all those parts to start to take a break. Just by concentrating, we allow for relaxation to enter our system more fully. But the reverse is true as well. The more relaxed we are, the easier it is to concentrate. If we're not relaxed, then the tension in our body is constantly throwing up things into our consciousness that it thinks we need to pay attention to. This tension over here is like, we got to fix that. And this tension's like, we got to remember this, and this tension, right? And so the more unrelaxed we are, the more distractions are going to buffet against our concentration. So they work in symbiosis. Concentration and relaxation work together to get you more and more concentrated and more relaxed. And there are practices that are all about the concentration, and those practices are actually also all about the relaxation. They're the same thing. The deep concentration practices are deep calming practices. They go together hand in hand. And I will just finish up by saying you can figure out how to do this on your own. It's not very complicated. Concentrate on something that's relaxing. Concentrate on something that's calming. If you want to work on the concentration part of your practice, and most of us should at the beginning, try to get our concentration more grounded, turn your attention, pick an object that is calming, pick an object that is relaxing. So today we focused on relaxation itself. That is a relaxing object. It's definitely a relaxing object. For some of us, it might be hard to find, so it won't be the perfect object. But if you can find it, it's a really good object. You're noticing relaxation. As you attend to relaxation, your body gets more relaxed, just by nature. There's other objects, and you all know, I mean, the people on the Zoom call know all the mini objects I've told you, but there's mini objects. We call them resource objects. Anything that's pleasant, anything that's calming, anything that's joyful, anything that's at least just okay. These are going to be good objects to start your meditation on. And if the breath doesn't work for you, that doesn't matter. You pick something else. Or if only a part of your breath works, then choose that part of your breath. I want to pick something that is intrinsically already somewhat pleasing. Even if it's hard to focus on, as you keep bringing your attention back over time, you'll get rewarded with more pleasure or relaxation or calmness, and that will make it easier to concentrate, which will make it easier to focus on pleasure or calmness or relaxation, which will make it easier to concentrate, which will get you more relaxed and calm. And notice that the only effort that is required in that practice is the effort of moving your attention. That's all. You don't need to force yourself to be relaxed. You don't need to try to be relaxed. You don't need to try to be calm. You don't need to try to be joyful. All you need to do is move your attention, is give attention in the right way. At first, that might feel like a lot of effort to move your attention. That's okay, but that's all it is. It's just attention, which is, what is attention? It's a weightless, thing. It has no mass. It should be pretty easy to move. It's not at first, but it should be, right? So at first, you give whatever effort is required so that you can move your attention back to the object. And over time, you can then also pull more and more effort out of that. So that gets easier and easier. This, and to finish up, I'll just say, this is something anybody can do. This is like, learning to tie your shoes, or like, it's just a step-by-step process. You have to give it daily practice. Riding a bike, juggling, any of these things. You just give daily practice to it, and it's guaranteed that your concentration will get better and that there will be more calmness and relaxation in your practice, and then ultimately in your life as well. But it does require, and this is for everybody, daily practice. So I really encourage everybody to continue practicing for at least 12 minutes every day. 30-minute sits are good. A couple of 30-minute sits is great, right? You can do that. You will see the benefits of this part of the practice building up pretty steadily. This is true even if you've been practicing for years. You decide to do a new skill or focus on a new thing, daily practice is required to sort of build up and change your nervous system. And over the years, what happens is we find more and more hidden layers of tension or resistance that we can let go of. You can think of that purely in physical terms, or you can think of it in purely psychological terms. Like, you find more and more hidden layers of trauma or history that can be let go of and no longer have to haunt you, cause you suffering. Okay, so I am going to stop the recording now.